High tensile wire, so we can tension it a lot with this tool. And because of that, we need the corners or the ends of the fence to be strong, like to put up with all that tension without bending in. So like the strongest part of the fence is the corner or your end of the fence, and then in the middle you can just put some other posts to guide the wires and to like hold the wires in the distance you want to keep between wires. So in these ones we have in the bottom ones 15 centimeters apart, and then it's 20 between the third and the fourth, and 25 between the fourth and the fifth. So the middle posts are not holding any tension, it's just they are just holding the wire, unless they are like here, and like the laneway hasn't got a lot of tension because we have like the road is not straight, so these middle posts are holding a little bit of like sideways tension, but not the main tension from the wire. So in the corners we usually put bigger posts as the ones that are on the other side of the river,
and deeper also,
and they go deeper. The big post in the corner was we put them 1.5 meters down, and then we make like an H frame with another post to hold the tension. But we don't have any here, so maybe we can go up there and I show you how the forces work for that. So then it's a matter of building the corners, putting all the posts in, the middle posts, screwing in all the insulators, because most of them are electric fences, and that we make with this bit with a screwdriver. It's very easy. And then we insulate the corners as well, like in that one we put a little piece of that plastic tubing, so the electricity doesn't flow into the post when it's wet, and to protect the posts as well.
What about the trees?
Well, we use that tree as a corner because this fence doesn't have a lot of tension, and we should have put an insulator there really, but as this is only a laneway, it's not holding animals, we are not putting it electric, so we didn't put insulator, but we should have to protect the tree mainly.
This will be in the middle of the tree in 15 years time. It'll be really cool.
Yeah, and it will hold.
Cool for your chainsaw.
And also the trees like this one that is small, they don't hold as much force as a proper corner building. Like this tree can move easily, so when you tension, like you just bend the tree. Like there's a lot of force put in the wires.
And the aim of these, like the pig fences, I'm probably sure you're all aware now, but is to just electrify the top 3 by just joining them together. And you can do that with simple clips, or you could permanently do that. But the reason being that you've seen the pigs digging, right? They dig everything on the fence. So it's either you're clearing the fence every day or 2, or you're just electrifying the top and using the tensile wire to stop them getting through, as it were. And that just makes maintenance easy, because what we can then do is when the cows are coming up into some of these paddocks in the future, they can graze this laneway as a half-day grazing or whatever, and they will go under that fence if we don't electrify it. They'll go and grab the grass underneath it. Same with the wolf fence. Like the bottom line on the wolf fence is is the wolf fence. So the top one's a lynx fence, and the cows and sheep will graze right up to that if you don't have it electric, and that saves you a lot of time. It's a good day's work cutting around the whole fence line on the farm, so it's better to not have to do that.
So here's an example of a corner with the H frame. So this is dug down 120 in the ground because it holds a lot of force, and the other one's I think it's only 80, but maybe a meter. And this is to to take some of that force, and then it's quite essential we have this diagonal reinforcement. So we get a pull this way on the fence, so that this one, so to distribute some of that force that way, it pulls from down here, because it can take more pull down here where it's close to the ground than up here. The reason why we have all these isolators is because we want to be able to have, for example, electrics running here, but not over here when we move the pigs into the next paddock to the right of here. So they can be run electricity independent in these lines, and they are, as Richard was talking about before, you can see that they are connected. The three upper wires are connected here permanently, so that's why we just put electricity into the top one, for example, and then it will be distributed automatically into the others.
I think this is the coolest corner on the farm.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, to make clear the physics of the how this stands all the tension, is that like all the tension firstly comes to the main post, so all that tension makes the post like to bend towards where the tension comes, so that bending movement pushes the secondary post with this horizontal one, so the secondary pole starts bending as well in the same direction. So then this wire, that is like the main thing that keeps all together, as you put both poles like this distance between the bottom of the main corner and the top of the secondary corner increases when you pull this way. So that wire holds that distance together, so you cannot pull it more. And that's all that tension goes to the bottom of the post, where it is most like the strength more strong. Like you cannot. It makes like if you are pulling these posts like horizontally like this. So you need really a very strong force to like push all the soil down there too. So that's why like that little diagonal wire is like one of the main things of the corner.
Why would you choose an H-frame instead of like two diagonals?
It's stronger. Like the diagonal, you can like sometimes varies. Like it goes deeper a little bit. So it is strong, but for very high tensile, like this is still stronger.
It's really much stronger.
Yeah, it pulls like the whole thing sideways instead of this.
You even do like for a long run with a lot of tension pulled on it, you might do a double H brace with two of those wires. Like it's like this is far stronger than a single post, and it's a lot of work to make it compared to just a simple one. So that's why we did like that down there. It's just not necessary, but you know, like in Australia, New Zealand is a country where I'll tell you a couple of interesting insights I've got researching fencing in different parts of the world, is that in New Zealand it's very common to have 7 or 9 wire systems, just because that's the way they do it. And so it needs a massive amount of infrastructure, like really big poles, really high tensile. It's very nice fencing, it will last 50, 60 years, but it's a massive cost and labour as well. And then in Australia or America, where they have massive farms, you find they put their posts like up to 15 meters apart, because they often have huge ranches where they couldn't afford to buy that many posts. So check your guidelines, but it's like water testing. Your country's water testing is very different from your neighbouring country's water testing. But it's like that. It's like check your guidelines, and in England we do 4 or 5 meters, but there's no reason why it couldn't be 10 meters if you're on a flat open thing. So it's one of them things that there's no perfect answer. It's like, what are your objectives?
In Argentina we use posts like that every 10 or 12 meters, and then very thin pieces of wood, like where the wire goes through, and they are not in the ground, they are just hanging from the wire, but they keep the distance between the wires.
In the posts, we've used that one before, and dig down the corner posts, then put in the isolators, which we use this bit for. Okay, so that. Very handy. And then we would take a shorter piece of wire and tie around one end of the stretch. I can show you afterwards how to tie a knot. And then for the rest of the stretch, you need to either walk with this super heavy roll of wire, or you can have this super handy wheel that Richard has here. So you can, for the stretching right here, I put it the wheel here. You put the roll of wire on it, and you can move these ones so they fit.
This wire is a bit like black poly pipe. Like if you let it go, it can just unspring, and it's a nightmare. Like
Some
poly
rolls are
pipe,
worse
it's the
than
same.
others. Yeah.
So
And then
you've got to keep it wrapped up good.
yeah. Then you can tie that to a branch maybe and start walking, and it will just wheel out if nothing is in the way. Yeah. Tie that to the other end, and then
And you have to remember to put, if you're going around corners, you must remember to put bits of this tube, like this one. You must feed them onto the wire before you tighten it and tie it all off. Otherwise you're like, nah. We do.
yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. We use these pliers to cut the wire.
These are fencing pliers, standard fencing pliers, and you want them because they do many different things.
Yeah.
This is
Got a hammer. Part?
this is for the nails, like these nails here. You can hammer them in with this one, and you can take them out with that one. And this is for cutting the wire. This is for gripping the wire, so you can do some hand tensioning, which you can use this as a lever for. And these are crimpers that you can crimp things with, like some different wire connectors use different crimps and things. So definitely you want a pair of these, and any brand will do of decent fencing pliers, like 15 euros. Hayes are a good brand of stretchers.
Basically it's to put one end on one of the pieces on one end of the wire, or one of the wires. That's where it ends, and then the other piece, like it goes in here, there, and it can be tightened by the pull, holds it. Yeah, and it's the same system on the other one, and then the chain would go in here, and you can, by moving this, walk along this chain and in that way tighten it.
This is like the one tool I would put money in and buy the better brands. Like Hayes is a good brand, because this is where your risk is. If it slips out of the lockjaw, that's where you get hurt. And Hayes, you find it all over the world. It's a good brand, but all the rest of the stuff is kind of generic. Doesn't make so much difference.
Like the importance is that the knot, it doesn't lose with time and with like different seasons and all that. Different
It can't
temperatures.
slip.
So because wire, it's like slip. Like there's a lot of people that just go around the post and around the wire itself, and that knot like loosens easily with time. So this is a variation of that is very easy to make, and it doesn't slip.
So basically we would want to start by tying a regular knot, like if you wanted to start tying your shoelaces. So it goes under and down here, and then we can start rolling around it. So I've found that it's easiest if you start by making the kink that makes the knot, and then go under. And before tightening it around here, it's easier to make that knot so you have the room to tighten it. So, and then you can. I made the isolator too long for this thin pole. It's okay. So now I have the knot, normal knot here, and then I want to tie it around this. So I would go up now and then around here. So putting as much tension as possible now. Something to hold against. And then it's about wrapping.
This handle
Yeah.
that Astrid's got is vital. You can't do it without that handle.
Get a good grip by making a 90-degree angle on the wire here. So now it's about just wrapping the wire around like
Nicely
that.
done, Astrid. Nicely
Thank you,
done.
thank you.
Neat and tidy, neat and tidy.
Tried it a couple of times now. Yeah.
And then watch this next bit. Is
Yeah.
important.
So you would need to go back a bit, and then then roll it sideways
Snap it.
to snap it.
This is really important. The reason being is that doesn't leave a sharp edge. Feel that it's quite smooth. If you cut this wire, it's very sharp,
It's hard.
and you rip your clothes or.
Hmm.
Like this material is real nice to work with when you get familiar with it. It's like it has tension in it, so you like when Astrid was wrapping that, you have to use a bit of strength because the wire sort of pulls off on its own. You need to guide it where you want it to be. It's kind of letting the wire do the work a bit. But that's the goal: is a tight knot that cannot slip now, and it's not sharp on the thing. And you would typically, in most fencing scenarios, you would then get a nail and nail that on the back of here so that it can't slip. And you would choose the correct size one, like a big one, so that it doesn't bite through that insulator and connect with the metal inside.
And you want it in a bit of an angle, right? So it's not the same fibers
Yeah.
that it goes into, but different fibers
Right
in the
angle.
wood.
It has a
And then
better
use the
grip.
pliers, yeah. for hammering.
This size one is a bit, you might want to hammer. Then these,
Yeah,
it's
we've
not so
actually
heavy.
used some smaller ones down here. Yeah, these are mostly what we've been using.
And then how about Lucas? Can you connect one to that?
Yeah. So the machine this goes to the other corner, and now I I can show maybe this a bit more. So you would put this on one end. So what I want is to tension this wire and tie it up. Then I put this one on the other end. Well, this obviously with tension you just can pull, and it as more as you pull, the better is the grip in there. So then I would put the chain inside the tool here, something like that.
This is
Yes,
going
maybe
to
people-
test Astrid's strength and endurance.
So for using the tool,
Let's
You
see
have
if we
this-
can pull Astrid over.
you have this leverage. You have to like keep your fingers like off the clear of these hooks, because it has a lot of tension, and you can it's easy to get your finger jammed there. So you want to pull the other lever out and this one, and then you grab the following link, and then you do the same with this. So you start giving tension to the wire as far as you want.
You can tell the poles actually.
Oh, you're pulling the
Tip.
wire.
So when you get the
That's
right
tight.
tension, yeah, the tension you want, then you have to tie these both wires together, and you want to tie them as tight as possible so that you don't lose your tension. So, thank you. Yeah, this will hold by itself when it's when it's tight. So we were trying some different knots. It's all about like the same knot, but you can like construct it, like tension it differently. So the best option we came across is to do more or less 30 centimeters. I follow this step so I don't forget. Like I take the left wire and I just do a kink below the wire like that, and you have that kink there. Then I come with the right wire and go from the top down. There. So I want this to be as tight as possible there. So then I can just pull again a little bit more this one, so that I close a little bit the kink. And then I want to make the same kink over this wire. So what I will make is to go over this wire and down again and come in this way. So it's something like that. So it's the same kink. Now here's the biggest trouble. Like you want to, for keeping this tight, and because if I do the kink here, then I have like a 5 centimeters slack there, and so when I release the tool, then the wire is not tight. So I want these two kinks as near as possible. So the best way to do that is to like pre-do a kink here, like I do it outside, like somewhere around there, and now I try to pull it back and back again. But here, like if I pull it by hand here, it will make a kink, another kink here. So the best thing to do, like this is obviously very tension, so what I do is to grab the wire with the pliers and make a big pull there. But now I won't do it because I can try. Let's try Astrid strength.
Let's try
So what I do is
would you grab it with them ones?
Yeah, I could
to get a better
grip.
Better grippage.
Yeah. So I'm there. So there I have the two kinks. Those two kinks together like that will hold all the tension of the wire. So now that I made those two, this knot is called figure of 8, I think. It looks like an 8. So now I can release the tool. I continue the knot. So I grab any end. This is maybe quite long. So then I follow this loop here. It's easier if I hold the knot now that I need to twist it. So I just hold it there, it's fine. So I go following that loop there. I make my handle, as Astrid did, and then I go around. Maybe 2 or 3 turns, something like that. And the same on the other side. Just continue with the knot. Make my handle.
Me.